Okay guys, so this is the tutorial to convert cars to rFactor, specifically the Shift Street mod from 3ds Max. Now 3ds Max is a modeling program, and you should probably have a nice model downloaded and set up in 3ds Max. So let me just check my model quickly. So I'll be doing the Porsche Cayenne GTS model to be specific. So here's my car. These are all the maps for it. Um, Actually, maybe not. Never mind, here it is. I will just re-extract it. Just wait. Okay, that's it. Okay. Let's just get rid of these two because they're of no use to us, and let's fire up 3ds Max. Wow, this is certainly taking a while. At any time, if you guys have any questions or need some clarification or want to ask more things, just type it in the comments box in the live stream, and I'll respond to it, either via text or through the mic. Okay, so it's coming up. Now the first thing that I'd like to do is when this comes up is to you hit OK to these dialogues. They come up. Yes. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is switch this to orthographic. And this from before we do that, it's gonna change it anyways. Go to the bottom left hand corner and click the arrow, and we want to click the 2-panel vertical layout. Just drag this over to the left. This will make sure we can select all the objects very easily. And where it says top, click this and let's switch it to the Scene Explorer view. So it's Extended Viewports, Scene Explorer, New. There you can see all of this stuff here. Switch the orthographic view. Switch this from wireframe to shaded. Click this again, which is Materials Disable Transparency. Now to navigate around 3ds Max isn't that hard, but okay. By the way, another thing to set up is if you hit this plus icon, configure viewports, and under Statistics, under the Statistics tab, make sure this is set to Total plus Selection, and Show Statistics in Active View. hit apply, make sure it's working, and okay. This will tell you how many polygons are in the model, how many vertices, and how much you've selected. And last of all, your frames per second, which I'm not getting very good frames per second. So for example, if I click this hood, basis body, the basis body hood is 1100 polygons. Now typically for any rFactor models, you would try to stay under 50,000 polygons for a single object, because ZModeler, which is the next program we're going to use, will reject this if it's above 50,000. 55 is okay, but anything too far will screw it up. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just split the parts. And if you can see, we're going to use something called dummies in 3ds Max to house all our parts. So first off, let's click the select by name, or actually just right click anywhere on the display and unhide all. So you see all these green boxes. These are dummies. Yeah, all these are dummies. So first, hit select by name. This is what we should do always at first. Make sure only this is selected. So none of these items over here. And select all. Okay. So now all of these are selected. On the right side, under the hierarchy tab, click effect pivot only. Up at the top, hit select and move. And you see all these all over the place. We want it all set to 0, 0, 0. So down at the bottom, you have the type in for the transform. Let's type in 0. You can click off this right now. This will make sure that, let's say we moved it out or something, because we will be moving stuff out. You can always just hit 0 and it will come back to the center. Also, rFactor requires that you have the pivot point set at 0, 0, 0 for everything except for the steering wheel, which we'll come back to later. Now, another issue is this is actually 0 right there. And as you can see, all the cars are right behind it. All the parts of the car are behind it. Solve this issue, let's go into, I think that's right view. We can create a box object or a dummy object. If we go under helpers dummy, and we can create, perhaps not a dummy. Let's do a box. So normal box. Let's get it at best as possible. Ignore the tail hook. Okay. Alright, and I'll have to edit the length modifiers. So let's do 1.9. Oh, that's not the length. That doesn't matter. We're only worried about this direction here. Because that way, if we find the center of this, we can move it to the 0, 0 point. So let's try 4.8. It's all about experimentation. Let's just do 5 for the sake of it. No, that's too big. I think 4.8 is an ideal size. Maybe 4.85. Okay. So let's move it. So by doing this, we are able to find the center point, which in our case is 2.497. So just make sure to keep this in mind, or in a notepad document. Just put it there and move it off the side. And now we can get rid of this object. Now selecting all of the, make sure to hit select by name, Control A. Now, since it said 2.497, we're going to move it. We're going to try 2.497 first. Okay, that moves it too far back. So, negative 2.497 should be the other way. Wait, that should be 0. Sorry, the y. Right, so now our model's centered. Just to fix the pivot points, effect pivot. See how they're all in front. Y, set it to 0. Alright, now you can uncheck it. And now you can move around. Now immediately there are some items which we should get rid of, such as these speculars will be specular fake. Those will be taken care of by in 3D Cement itself. We'll assign specular maps, which would take care of the specular issue. We don't need another object for it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and delete all the alpha ramp objects. So a nice tip with the select dialog is if you hit star, let's say we're searching for all things with the alpha ramp, and hit star again, it'll select all of them, even if it's anywhere in the name. So there's quite a lot. You can get rid of all of them. But don't delete black plane, because that is a necessary thing. Necessary object. This car's kind of sporty, so. Okay, so first let's take care of the main body parts, such as the hood. So if we go up here, it says X body bases hood. Select all of it. Actually, we only need to select the objects inside of it. So right click, expand selected. It's already expanded, but if it wasn't, select these. If you right click and hit cut nodes, you can click on this object here, and it's the nice thing about this dummy is it's already centered at 0, 0, 0, and we can just right click on it and hit paste. So now it's at the top level. We can get rid of these other dummies, which are unnecessary. So this is 1100, pretty decent. So let's just name it hood. We don't need to worry about that. So actually, anything that we've completed, let's right click, collapse all, get rid of all these stuff. We can move it to -3. So there it goes away. Oops, I forgot about this. Let's move this to -3 as well. Cut. Paste. Alright. If you want, you can hit F4. This will toggle all the polygons so you can see them. Make sure you haven't missed anything, especially in these black areas. Alright, so the hood is done. So we basically do the same thing to all the other parts. Now the issue comes when you have upgrades. And it's frozen. Okay, so if you click on this, we can see where it's under. So it's EXT front bumper turbo GTS. So you got this, and there's also the front grille. If I hope I can move. So as you can see, there's something called adaptive cruise control on all Porsches, which apparently it's supposed to do cruise control. Unfortunately, rFactor doesn't support that. So if we hit expand selected, select all of this and hit the delete key on your keyboard, it will get rid of it. Okay. So this is the apparently there's only one front bumper on this car, which is a good thing. Assuming the sports design front bumper. So let's select the entire bumper. So right click, expand selected, as usual. Make sure it's the center at 0, 0, 0. And using the control key, click each one of these. Only the ones with the circle next to them. That means object. If only there was a faster way to do this, but now we can cut these. Low spec computers will not crash, especially when you're having multiple cars in a race or a multiplayer race. So we'll call this level of detail 0 for the maximum quality. And later I'll teach you a way to create level of detail 1 and 2 so we can reduce these polygons and make it more lower quality. So now we also have to combine the grill. So right now if you see, if you scroll all the way up to FBMPR, move it left and right, all of these things are left out. So I mean the fog lights, yeah, we need the fog lights. And the indicators. Actually, wait a second. I think the indicator is part of the body. You can tell it's an X body basis. So yeah, it's part of the body. So we don't need to worry about that. We do need to worry about the front grille though. Hold up, just give me a second. Alright, sorry for that interruption. So now let's move this back to 0 first of all. this object. Actually, we can put a -2. Select a grid object. Or grill, sorry. Selection. Expand selected. And do the same thing for this one as well. Make sure to hit -2. And if we can find it. Where's okay. Paste notes. So now we have the front grille as well. Now we just need the fog lights. So select fog lights, expand this, expand selected, select all of them. It's not much, but and we also need to do 2 mirror. Alright, so cut. Actually, first let's move it to -2. Cut them and paste it to the bumper. Okay, so now our bumper object is pretty complete. If you hit Control C while in this view, it will select all of the objects under it, and we can see it's 17,000 polygons, which is well under our limit. Although 17,000 polygons is quite a lot. But we will fix that when we go to the more level of details. So let's move it to -3 to signify that we're done with it. There's quite a lot of upgrades on here. And we will have to select all the upgrades. Now use the middle mouse button to pan and move around. Now, the first thing I'd like to do is get rid of this object, because we will UV map it onto here. So first let's do the rear bumper. I guess that's about it. Wow. Not as much as I was expecting. Rear closures. If we hit Control C. Okay, so it looks like rear closures is actually the trunk. Hit Control C again, we can disable this. And there's the rear apron. I can figure out what that is. Oh, okay, so the rear apron is the under part of the car. Thankfully, he only has one. It's a rear exhaust bar and part. So we can just attach everything straight on. Just make sure there's no additional upgrade parts to it. Nope, okay. Which is a good thing. So I think this body base is rear, contains the trunk and everything. Let's just expand it. Expand. Selected. Hit Control C to stop the. So rear spoiler, we don't mind about that, I think. If you want to figure out what an object is, just move it out of the way. Oh, these are all black lines, doesn't matter. Okay, car body seals. matter. Alright, so we want, we don't need the rear wiper. We need, actually, the rear bumper and the rear apron. So we could just move down. Steel skid plate, bottom bases, inner bottom part, and then rear bumper main body. Oops. Hold up. Okay, so it looks like they're actually, unfortunately, there are upgrades for this. So select the previous one. Okay, so this is our basis. This is the basis for the rear bumper. So just cut these objects out. And if we can, let's just find a nice empty one. Make sure it is. Okay, let's just, if you hit right click and unlink selected. Now we have them all out. Move the object, move the dummy object to 0, 0, and 0. And paste it in. Paste all of your rear bumpers. Rear bumper. And let's do level of detail 0. So we know this is the rear bumper stock. So let's move it out of the way. And let's move on to the spoiler, which is right there. Select it and rear spoiler main part. First though, let's actually select the rear spoiler. Let's collapse everything and go. My body ext spoiler basis roof spoiler. Spoiler basis roof sports design package. So for the basis roof spoiler, we can also attach the bottom part. And to differentiate this, let's move it to, instead of 3, instead of -3, let's move it to 3. So this is the stock roof spoiler, and at -6, we will have, where did I move it? I meant -6, not 6. Oh, I meant 6, sorry. Oh, yikes. Okay, well, I guess this is the sports design package, so. This is the sports design package, wow. Was not expecting that. For right now, we can just select these as our object. If it moves. And if you have any questions about what I'm doing, just feel free to ask it in the comments box below. Okay, so now it's responding again. Select this as the stock of spoiler, so we'll cut, hit Control Z to resume your selection. Cut objects. Make sure to hit Control C so you don't move this to 3, yes, and paste it under the top level. Finally got some upgrades. Let's name this RWING with rear wing, and 1 for the stock part. And we can move this off to -3. Meanwhile, for this, we'll select all of the. Now, if you click and drag, it'll select the objects. So make sure not to select any of the, make sure not to select any helper objects, and we can just select any random one from here, as long as it's at 6, 0, 0. So let's change these to 0, and paste it in. So, and you can hit unlink selected. Make sure nothing inside selected says unlink. And if you find roof spoiler, there it is. So let's name this to RWING2 for the sports design package. You see, so we can also move this to -3. So far, this is our car. Alright, so we finished all these parts. Let's work on some of the other parts that have been selected here. So, this is the side skirt. But first, let's do the apron. Whoops. If we can find it's called the rear apron. So, ext rear parts, I think. X, I think. Let's just select it here for sake of time. There it is. Body, bases, side skirts. Move this to 3. Alright, so now we have the same objects, I think, as this one. Okay, that's just a black plane. Okay, so let's select this rear part. Make sure not to select any of the helper objects. Hit Control and Control Z. Cut these objects and paste them into a random one, like this one, and make sure it's set to 3, 0, 0. Oh, whoops. Probably should not have done that. Let's just find a random one for the time being. Make sure it's set at 3, 0, 0. Okay, 3, 0, 0. Paste nodes. This is called RBTM1 for the stock portion. And we can move this off to -3. So if we click here, rear apron. So that's it, okay. And so that just means we can just select the top portion. Make sure to move it to 300 or 600 in this case. So you can, if there's an object under it and you don't want it to move with the dummy object, you can just hit don't affect children. 0, 0. Alright, so now unlink this. We name it to R bottom 2. Back to -3. And now let's do side skirts. Side skirts over here. The arch extensions. So, side skirts. Angle yourself. This is okay. Just select all of these. Go into mirror. Select all side skirts. Cut these nodes. Paste them into an unused object. Paste. Let's call this skirt 1 for stock. Unlink. And over to -3. Now same thing with the sports design side skirts. Same with the mirror and non-mirror. Cut. Move this to 0. Paste. Now there's a part that is missing from here, so see if you move this, this portion doesn't come with it. So that portion is the switch. So with side skirt cover, without side skirt cover. The main difference is there's a cover, and honestly, I'm just gonna choose the better one. So I'm gonna delete the without one and hit Control C, select all of this. Expand this, selected. Select just the objects, cut them, paste them into the skirt object. Now that we have the skirt, Control C. We can unlink this, and then -3. Now let's move on to the wheel arches. Actually, how long is this video so far? I'll go until an hour. Front apron. So if you want to skip ahead, just basically this part is just to split the parts, move them into the dummy objects, and put them at the top level. So just do that for all of your upgrades and all of your just detachable parts, just the hood, the body, the hood, the bumpers, the roof, which is an upgrade for me. Any other upgrades you would like, but only do the exterior right now because the interior is different. And the wheels I'll get to later in case they're turned like this, in which many of the showroom models actually have them turned, and there's a way to turn them back with the rotate and to align them. Split the spoiler, the trunk. Yeah, that's about it. So if you're ready and you think you want to continue on with that, we'll go ahead. So meanwhile, let's just select whoops, it's frozen. Just select the front apron, the stock front apron. It's 2JC or something. We can actually get rid of this. Let's Control C, delete. Some of the upgrades you will want to get rid of because sometimes they're not as useful, and rFactor after a certain amount of objects it starts getting really slow, especially on the spinner and loading the object. So you don't want to have too many upgrades. And some upgrades are okay, but not too many. So like I usually have about 15, sometimes more, but usually for the rims, which there's a lot of rims in these models, bumpers, spoilers, exhausts, and roof, and then the inside. So let's finish the front skid plates. Forget the steel skid plate. Forget the other stuff. So Control select these. These are going to be our stock ones. So just paste it. You can actually paste into a random one. So this is already at 0. Move everything to 0. 0, 0. FVTM underscore has the 1 for stock. -3 to move it away. And same thing here, front apron. So select all these objects. I think that's it. Yeah, that is it. Should be a 6, 0, 0. It's just a random dummy. It doesn't really matter which one you do. Rename it to FBTM2. Unlink. Let's go to where the F is. F section. And oops, I forgot to change this to 0. Just hit don't affect. And then -3 to get rid of it. Now actually I think I'm going to stop there. It's a pretty nice stopping point. We've done a lot of the parts. Next time we'll get on to more of the exterior portions. There's quite a lot on, especially this model, and if you get a lot of the really detailed models, there's a lot. You can also scratch make them if you scratch made the model and you have a lot of upgrades that you would like to see. This is a way of splitting them all up. So I think that's where I'm gonna leave you guys for the first live stream. Please come and watch the second live stream, which I will do most likely next week or sometime in the next week, due to the Race Wars event coming up, hosted by Nidza on Facebook. So see you guys until later. Goodbye.